We on?
Yep.
Okay, so today we're gonna do a little safety briefing on all the equipment necessary to travel in avalanche terrain. So we're just gonna go over all of that, talking about companion rescues and what happens if yourself or your friends get stuck in an avalanche. So first of all, this little machine that you may or may not have used before. This is called a transceiver. Basically your life-saving computer that stays on your body. So there are two main modes on these computers. The first is send mode. So on these computers, there's these lock mechanisms that you have to slide to be able to change modes. And you have to make sure that they're clipped in right. If not, they could change modes without you intending them to do so. So first of all, there's the send mode, which basically sends away a signal. And then there's the search mode, which rescuers would put themselves in to receive those signals. For instance, if there was somebody under the snow and you would want to start the rescue, you'd ask everyone to go in search mode to be able to read a signal. And now I'm getting this weird ghost signal. So that's pretty much it for the transceivers. There's usually a flag button here. So once you would get to a victim, you would press this flag button here to ignore that signal so you could go on and find the next signal. The placement of the transceiver on the body is quite important, especially regarded to all electronics on your body. For instance, if I have my phone here, I'd want it to have around 20 to 40 centimeters away, so there wouldn't be any interference. And the placement, we have these little slings that come with the machines that you would place on your body with these straps, usually in this placement on closest to your body on your base layer, not on the outside, so you wouldn't lose it. That's pretty much it for the placement of the transceivers. Let's move on to the shovel. So these shovels are made to be quite lightweight, so you can disassemble them. And this you would carry in your backpack. You don't want anything hanging off the side of your backpack, so you don't lose your shovel, because this is very important to keep in a rescue scenario. So these shovels have little pins on them that you can extend them to make them longer to have more leverage. The way you use these shovels is in a rescue scenario. After you would have had a probe strike where you'd leave your probe in the snow, you would set yourselves up with your crew strategically to move the snow downwards, so down the hill, with, depending on the angles of the slope, doing a sort of conveyor belt technique or a V technique. Just the person in the front would be cutting blocks and trying to make big blocks of snow, and then the others would be trying to get rid of that snow that the person was cutting out. It's also important to know that it's very beneficial if you switch out very often, so you don't get too tired, so you keep the efficiency up. So you would call a switch. So one person in the back would go, well, actually the person back of you would go in front of you, and you go back to the back of the line. So that's pretty much how you're supposed to dig. I talked about probes. So probes are like tent poles. They're very long metal poles that you would assemble by throwing. So this is an example of throwing the probe, and then you'd wiggle until it assembles itself. And then you wait for the click, and you'll see a little pin here that's clipped in. There's also a double security. We have this little wire here that you can come clip on the probe, so it doesn't disassemble itself if this little pin lets go. So the probe is is a piece of equipment that we use to try to get information of what's under us by feeling and probing around in the snow. So for the companion rescue scenario, where you would go to start probing, you would want to start probing in a spiral formation with about 20 centimeters between each probe strike. But I'll talk about that a bit later during the full companion rescue cut down. So we're talking about avalanches, but what would happen if you got stuck in an avalanche? So the first thing that's important to know is that you need to let the others around you, so you need to advise everyone that there has been an avalanche and you're stuck in it. So you're gonna have to start yelling and say avalanche very, very loud, so everyone around you can get their eyes on you and also get out of the avalanche so they don't get caught ulterior. So once you're in the avalanche and you feel that the snow under you is moving, well, you're gonna have to try to get rid of all the equipment that could get stuck in the snow and drag you down to the bottom. So you're gonna try to kick off your skis. Snowboarders, that's one of the drawbacks to split boarding in the backcountry. You can't get rid of your board. It might drag you down a bit deeper compared to if you had skis on. So you're gonna throw your probes away. That's why we don't have any, we don't keep our straps on our ski poles. So they don't get stuck on our arms. And you're gonna feel yourself on an ocean of moving snow. So you would try to swim. So you're gonna go on your back and try to swim and try as high as possible. Try not to get to not get low in the snow, so you wouldn't get buried at the bottom. Trying to grab anything you can, grabbing on the trees, rocks, or even punching to the surface bed to try to get something. Anything to get you stopped and immobilized to not be in this avalanche. If you feel that the avalanche is slowing down, that's your cue to start making an air bubble around your face. So once you're in the snow, you would have a bit more air instead of having snow directly on your face, and that definitely makes a big difference. So if your buddy or anyone else in your group is stuck in an avalanche, or you see anyone else, obviously you want to let everyone else around you know there's been an avalanche if they haven't noticed. So you're going to yell avalanche, and in that case you're going to try to mobilize a rescue or try to get resources to get those people out. And of course, your number one priority is to keep yourself safe. So always make sure scene safety has been done to make sure you're not going to be in danger. So for companion rescues, the first part is of course the scene survey. You want to make sure that the scene is safe for yourself. You want to make sure how many people are stuck in this avalanche. You want to know who's been involved. You want to know where's the avalanche, if there's any last seen points, if you see any gloves or ski poles, or if you saw the person go down in the avalanche, you could see where you last saw them. So that would definitely give you a lot more information to starting your avalanche search to know where they might already be. So the second thing after noticing that the scene is safe, the next step would be to make sure everybody's on search mode. So everybody in your group, you want to make sure that everyone in your group is on search mode, so nobody is sending signals in back of you when you're doing your search. So once you're in search mode, you're going to start doing the course search. So basically you'd be doing zigzags down your avalanche path with a maximum of 20 meters on each side and about 20 meters from each zigzag point. So you'd be going down, try to cover as much ground as you can, leaving no stones unturned, and then you'd be going down until you try to get a signal. Once you get a signal, no, it's actually the signal search before and then the course search. once you get a signal, you're going to try to get to it as fast as you can, following the arrows and numbers on your transceiver. And once you get to about 10 meters, you're going to slow down, trying to get the machine to register to get the best quality information so it doesn't send you on a goose chase. You're going to slow down, and then once you get to about 3 meters, you can probably kick off your skis or anything that might hinder you in pinpointing the victim. So that would be called the find search. So at that point, you're gonna rip out your probe and make everyone ready to use their shovels. And if you have a few people with probes on, maybe they can start probing to have a lucky probe shot. You never know, that may save a lot of time. Once you, like I said earlier with the probe, you're going to do a spiral formation with 20 centimeters between each probe strike. And then at some point you are going to, if you're doing everything right and the person isn't too deep, you're going to have a strike and you're going to feel a person, so it's a bit softer. And then you can set yourself up, like I said earlier, to dig the person out. So once you get the person out, the first priority is to get their airways cleared to make sure they're breathing, and then after that it's all first aid. So from there on, it's trying to make the person comfortable and warm and reduce the exposure. So there's a few things to keep in mind. So obviously before you go out, you want to make sure that everyone is in send by doing a beacon check. So that can be done with either with your transceivers on special modes, or maybe there's machines that are set up at your touring spot to do the check. So just make sure you do a check before you leave. You never know, some people forget. Once in the backcountry, there's a lot of human factors that are present, so just keep those in mind. Also, it's very important to have the safety gear necessary to go out in the backcountry, like first aid kits and rescue sleds, anything that may help you get yourself out by self-rescue, or just give you a bit more time so you survive. If not, it's always super important to keep up on your AVI safety, all the rescue skills and all that, and keep on with education.